Hi there, everyone. Light DIY Josie here, where LIFE stands for low budget ideas for everyone. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today I have some Dollar Tree and free pantry organization ideas for you all. This shelf riser is probably one of my favorite items that you can get at the Dollar Tree. I love that it is so versatile. However, it needs to be improved. So I just want to let you know that when you're buying this, just be very careful. Sometimes it's missing the foot or the rubber on the foot here and on the other side. So this one I didn't notice that it only had two. So I just want to make you aware. So buyer beware. And also another thing that you need to watch out for is that when you buy a couple of these items, that they're actually the same width and height. Look at this one. It has about a half an inch difference. It would really matter if in case you are assembling this together. Like in my case, I often connect them together and I need to have them leveled or an equal height. So just want to give you another heads up there. Again, buyer beware. So whenever you go to the Dollar Tree, not because they're labeled the same, they're not all created equal. So just want to let you know. So I'm going to be organizing our kitchen cupboards. So, like I said, this Dollar Tree item is one of my favorites. If you just use one of it, then it may be a little bit wobbly if you just use one, and I want to reinforce it and make it stronger. So I am going to be connecting two. One would be right side up and the other one upside down. I plan to use this kind of like a drawer type system. And since I'm missing a couple of rubber feet here, I'm just going to remove all of the remaining ones because it's going to be upside down anyway, and I wouldn't be needing those rubber feet. So I am going to be tying these two together, and it's just going to be a simple zip tie connections. So this part here where there's still rubber foot or feet, I will make sure that I tie my zip ties first. And the rubber foot can help hold or block the zip tie from sliding. Okay. Now, if I'm going to put another zip tie on the other end here where there's no rubber, then I would just have to adjust it so that it will not get dislodged. So in the interest of time, I'm just going to be doing this in a faster motion. So here's the cupboard above our stove on the right side of our stove. And I have actually removed the things that I am going to be organizing, but here are a couple of photos on what it looked like before I removed the items. I guess it wasn't too bad. I was using old containers or food containers, but it could be better. It could be improved. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this shelf before I reorganize things, and that's always good measure to clean it up. After wiping away with washcloths, I also finish it up with disinfectant wipes to ensure that it is really clean. I'm going to be placing the assembled risers here, and just want to give another precautionary measure here that if there are sharp edges from the cut zip ties, make sure that they are also kind of hidden. Or you can also use a nail filer, or what I've done in the past is I also utilized hot glue to cover them so that when you're reaching out for things, you're not going to get scratched or cut. Putting together two risers make it more stable, and I just want to demonstrate here. Look at this one. It's a little wobbly, and chances are you will drop things aside from the riser falling off, but the other one that I connected together has more stability because the bottom is more even. Now you can opt to not use two. You can still use one, but just be very, very careful and be aware that it's a little weaker. First, I'm going to test out this Dollar Tree bin or basket. And this is the perfect size to use in this drawer type system that I am making. So this will allow enough width or space for me to reach out for things. So this bottom part, you cannot really put tall bottles, obviously. So you could put smaller bottles, like for example, the seasonings or spice bottles, you can put underneath. Anything that can also fit underneath the riser. I only have a few handful of seasonings and spices that I use and herbs as well. So these are the ones that I'm putting underneath here and they fit perfectly here and I can see pretty much everything from front to the back. And again, the riser allows for more clearance there for these types of bottles. And this is the drawer type system. Like I said, I can pull it out and look at what I have there. If I need to find a small bottle that got lost at the back, then at least I can inspect it without removing everything. And it's so easy and very inexpensive to corral. Now this container here is from the Dollar Tree as well. I love this container. My husband, actually, my late husband, loved buying this container because it's big and it can contain a lot of stuff. I also want to use this. This is from the Dollar Tree as well. And I like the fact that it's rectangular, it's even. I can use this on top of the riser. But I will set up the two food containers first, the ones where they have those orange lid. And I can use them for my oils, the other liquid in the condiments and the sauces and other things that I would need to use. So on this container here, I'm putting together the oil. And on the other one, I put the vinegars and all the other things, like for example, my ketchup bottle, which of course we have to put them upside down, right? Because it's easier to have it standing on its lid rather than the bottom. Okay, so I also want to put this Himalayan salt, my extra supplies of salt and black pepper. If you remember when I showed you my must-have organizers, and I'm going to be linking it in the upper right-hand corner, and I do have my spice jars next to my cooking stove top so that I can just reach for them if I need my Himalayan salt, my black pepper. And these are the extra supplies for that so that I can just put that on top of the riser. I like the outcome of this new organization system, utilizing clear containers that are neutral, even though they're not expensive, not like the acrylic type that you can buy in expensive retail shops. Utilizing this Dollar Tree items and some of the freebies, old containers are really, really amazing. And they're easy to clean up and maintain. Next, I'm going to be tackling to the left of our stove, and this is where some of our canned goods are and some dry goods as well. As you can see, we don't have a lot here, and this has been purged. I am still going to continue to purge because I think there's still a few items here that are not gluten-free, and now that we're moving into a gluten-free diet because of my daughter, and it makes more sense for me to prepare food that's good for gluten intolerant people as well, as such as my daughter, so that we also can manage our budget well, our expenses, instead of buying different things, or cooking two different food. Then I will just eat whatever she eats, and it's, like I said, it's healthier overall. So first off, I'm going to be removing everything that's in this shelf, and then I am going to be purging, like I said, and anything that's not gluten-free will either be donated to the food bank or given to some friends who are not gluten intolerant. I'm also wiping clean this cabinet, making sure that all the dust are gone, and also disinfecting it just like what I've done with the other one. And before I continue on with my DIY, here's Abernathy. I just want to formally introduce you to her, and she's a stray. I've adopted her, and she's been a great, awesome companion. For the left cupboard, I'm also going to use two risers, and this is when it's really crucial to have an even size or the same height of risers. So I chose the ones that are similar in height, because what I'm going to do with these two risers, instead of what I've done on the right cupboard, I am going to be connecting this horizontally, and I will not put them one on top of each other. So it is very crucial, again, like I said, with the same height and width. Maybe not much the width, but more the height, so that when I put things on top, they will not be uneven. I'm showing you one way to do this if you want a little bit of overlap in the middle, especially if your cupboard or cabinet is not as wide and cannot accommodate both of them stretched out or their full length. Then you can do it that way. You can overlap them, put the legs of one, and then it makes it more stable. But what I'm just going to do here is not really put so much overlap. I'll just use the space here that is created when I connect the two, and then just put one zip tie, one in the front and one at the back. So I'm just going to put them next to each other, and you will see that the legs are kind of overlapping. And then I'm going to be inserting the zip tie in a diagonal way to capture that intersection there, so that it will not slide off, and it is going to make it a little bit more secure if you put it that way rather than just straight up. I would like to suggest also to connect or use two zip ties on each end as well to make it more secure. And I'm going to do this in faster motion. It's very self-explanatory. Just watch what I'm doing. And then once you're done, tighten them and then cut all the excess zip ties. And you may wonder why I will not double up if I claimed earlier that it's more stable if I have something to reinforce at the bottom. The thing here is, because I have canned goods that I'm going to put at the bottom, they will hold this riser in place. Okay, so I will be situating or placing the canned goods or the jars, the heavier items at the bottom, to kind of block those legs and prevent them from wobbling. So again, it all depends on how you're going to use the risers and how you're going to organize your things. If you think that you're going to use the top for heavier items, feel free to use another couple of the risers to make it more stable so that it can really carry the weight. But I'm going to put the lighter weight on the top and then the heavier canned goods and the jars at the bottom. This already looks nice as it is, but then I have this container. You wouldn't believe it. This is a freebie. This is where free comes in. And this is the container that I like. This is the container for baby spinach that you can get at the groceries. And instead of throwing it away, I love using this container as an organizer also. Like I said, it's free, and it can also look similar or mimic the look of those expensive containers, like the acrylic containers that you can get at the expensive retail shops where you get those organizers. And this is a freebie. So if you also buy these types of spinach or vegetables that have this container, don't throw it away. This is perfect. This is another container that you can utilize without costing you an extra. So instead of you dumping it into the recycling bin or throwing it away, at least you can utilize this as an organizer. You can either use the top as well, and I opt not to use it because the bags sometimes that I organize are taller. I just need something to corral them. Like for example, this mung beans. So I'm just gonna position this packets or these bags sideways, and I can still see what's inside this container because it's see-through, it's clear. And like I said, what I like about this one, it's deep, it's big, it's light, and it's free. Now for the top portion, these are all the gluten-free boxes of flour, boxes of other noodles and pasta. I don't need to put them in a different container. I like that they fit perfectly here and I could see exactly what I have. I love how streamlined it is right now, and everything I could see in just one glance. Next, I'm including in this compilation some of the Dollar Tree organization that I use for my pantry and cupboard. With this DIY, I'm also going to use the shelf riser, also known as the cabinet shelf, as you can see on the label here. And I will be using also this acrylic party tray that I got also at the Dollar Tree. And I will just use a combination so that it'll make it sturdier for me to use in my cupboard or even in my pantry. So you can actually complete this with just these two items. You can do is just apply the hot glue and then put the acrylic shelf on the top. But here I also want to show you how you can do multiple units or shelves in a combination of a couple of shelf risers and 3 of these acrylic shelves. So first I have applied the hot glue at the bottom where the rubber feet are, and then I just made sure that it's sitting at the corner or each corner of this acrylic shelf. So that will be my bottom shelf, and then on the middle shelf, on top of this shelf riser, I am also going to put another acrylic shelf, and I will just align the glue to the slats of this shelf riser to make sure that the glue that I'll apply is sitting on and will connect to the acrylic party tray. Probably gonna just follow this line here, this other line here, and then maybe a few more lines at the center. And it's good to put it on to where that shaded area is, and just make sure it lines up. And then here at the bottom, to make sure that it really is connected, I apply more hot glue there. So if your shelf or your cupboard doesn't have a lot of clearance, you can stop here, and then you can just use this as a 2-tier organizer. However, I was adjusting our shelves on our cupboard, so I am doing a 3-tier organizer here by adding another shelf riser or cabinet shelf on top of this acrylic party tray, applying hot glue again to the bottom feet, and then applying hot glue again to a third party tray in the same fashion as I did with the second party tray, and then just attach it on top of the second riser, making it a taller or a 3-tier riser. Again, you can do this with just a couple of tiers or 1 tier or 3 tiers, depending on the space that you have vertically. So here it is. I added canned goods just to show you how sturdy it is. These are heavy canned goods on the top. The good thing about doing this combo, it is really gonna make it sturdier. Aside from just using the riser itself, the acrylic party tray makes it also possible for me to connect the risers together and then add more height. I like that you can add the taller cans on top, even the bulkier ones. And then you can use the first and second tiers for the medium and smaller size of cans. So here's our other kitchen cupboard in our other home, and I will just adjust the shelf here so that I will have enough clearance to put this 3-tier. And look at this, I can put this 3-tier organizer to house all of our spices. And like I showed earlier, if you want to use it for canned goods or even jarred goods, then they will be good also. But raising that shelf gives it additional clearance for me to fit this 3-tier organizer. And then for my oils and sauces or taller bottles, I just use one Dollar Tree basket there. For this next Dollar Tree DIY, I'll be using 6 seasonal signs that they sell at the Dollar Tree, along with 4 of these wooden trays that they also sell at the craft section of the Dollar Tree. So I'm just gonna use this Rust-Oleum chalk or my chalk paint to paint the wooden trays, starting from the inner part of the trays. However, I'm being careful not to cover everything, especially the locations where I am going to apply my wood glue. This way the glue will attach better rather than attaching to the paint. So I'm gonna keep some of the portions unpainted where I'm gonna connect the wooden signs. So I'm carefully painting over the areas that will show up, that will not be concealed by the wooden signs. So total of 4 wooden trays painted in white. Now I have those 2 blue wooden signs at the bottom here of the screen, and they're the additional signs. And since they're not painted white, I'm painting one of the sides, or the sides that are exposed, into white as well, because I couldn't find any additional white ones. So anything that's not going to be showing up, I didn't need to paint, and it's easier to connect anyway. That portion that the paint has been cured, and that is the portion that I applied the wood glue to. And as you can see here, I'm applying my wood glue again on the portions that I didn't paint on, so that the wood signs will attach better. As you can see, this is a very good organizer for smaller jars like spice jars or seasonings or dried herbs. I have this set that I purchased from Amazon, and they even came with labels. And here it is. I'm going to show you or demonstrate how I'm going to be using it to set up that same cupboard that I set up with the 3-tier organizers where I adjusted the shelves. So it fits perfectly here. And I can still use the top 4 items. So what I've done with the first 2 tiers, I put the cups or the coffee mugs as well, the bigger ones as well. And then the spaces that I have left on the top will be for some cookies or desserts and snacks. And also on the right side, that's where I had the sugar, coffee creamer, my coffee stirrer, and some hot cocoa powder. So this became my cupboard where I can reach out for when I am preparing hot drinks. So I'm just showing you how you can prop this up, aside from using it for dried herbs or spice jars and seasonings, or even canned goods. You can also set up a hot drink station inside the cupboard. There's even a space in the front if you want to put a coffee maker there, or a Keurig, maybe a smaller one, a single pod dispenser, and then just take it out when you're going to plug it in and put it back in, and then close the door so that it is out of view, so your counter will be clearer. This next organizer is also made of the Dollar Tree seasonal signs, and I'm just using the underside, the side where there are no words or prints. So what I'm just gonna do here is no DIY needed. I'm just stacking them up. So I am going to have a total of 7 pieces. You can probably do away with just 6, but I added one more in the front so that if I have jars that are fatter or bigger, then I do not need to worry about where I'm going to put them, but I will have enough space for them. Just like this container for my brushes and pencils. So imagine this as an organizer for your cupboard or cupboard pantry. You can also use this to organize canned goods as well as spices or herbs or seasoning jars and containers. For this next organizer, I'm using these 2 square wooden plaque or signs. And then I have painted them with the same hue or color as of those green wooden signs that I have shown you before this clip. And now I am going to utilize them to create this 2-tier shelf unit. And I am spacing them around half an inch in between each other to align to the width of these 2 plaques. Once again, I'm utilizing wood glue to connect the wooden signs to the wood plaques. And I am just going to align the wooden signs from the bottom to the top tiers. And here it is. I propped it up with some decorative items and my utensils and items for the kitchen. And I'm also going to show you how I'm going to be utilizing this inside the cupboard. And I placed it where I placed the white 3-tier organizer earlier. And since this is 2-tier, I have so much space on the top as well. So what I have done is I've used it to hold the bowls, the ramekins, and the plates. And I have enough space, and it's so durable and heavy duty that it can carry those heavy items even at the top. But of course, you can also use this for spices and canned goods, just like the other one. But I just want to show you also an alternative way to use this inside your cupboard, aside from seasonings and canned goods only. For the next DIY, I will be using these green stackable plastic bins from the Dollar Tree, and I am using my hot glue gun's tip to punch holes on the 4 corners of each of these bins that I'm going to be putting together. So I'll be putting one upside down and the other one right side up, and I'm going to be connecting those holes, aligning them together, and then connecting them with zip ties. By doing so, I am giving enough clearance in the inner part of these connected bins. That means I can put taller bottles or bulkier items there, as opposed to if I just stack them up the normal way, where the other one is in the same direction as the one at the bottom. So by doing so, I give it enough space for those bigger items, and then connecting them with zip ties will also ensure that they are stable and they will not get dislodged. I have repeated this process, so I created another one. So I have prepared 2 because I'm going to put them side by side. And here is our pantry, and I will put one that I connected, and then I'm going to be adding this bin here, positioning it in the normal way you would use it when you buy it, so that I can also put some items there that are smaller. I do not need to connect this to the top of this connected bins, but if you want to do so for stability, you can either apply glue or hot glue, E6000, or you can even puncture holes again to attach them with zip ties. And next to it, I'm also stacking 3 pieces together the normal way. Then next to it, I'm also placing the other bins that I have connected earlier and arrange them in similar fashion by adding another one on top of it, just like the first one. I really like how they fit, both in depth, in width, and in height. It's like they were meant to be in this space. And here it is with some canned goods. As you can see, the ones that I doubled up, where I connected the two bins with zip ties, they can fit bigger jars or containers or canned goods because they have enough clearance. And then on the shelves that were positioned in a normal fashion, they can hold the medium to smaller or tiny containers as well. And here's another iteration wherein the tall bags or packets or containers, I was able to fit them all in here because there's enough clearance as well. I really love these stackable bins. I think they're really underrated, to be honest, because what I like about them is because they can be arranged like shelves, unlike those bins or baskets wherein the opening's not in the front but on the top. And here's another iteration where I used it to organize taller bottles such as the salad dressings, the spaghetti sauces, and I know that it'll fit also a medium size bottle of vegetable or canola oil as well. So of course, if I didn't arrange it this way, there will not be enough clearance for these taller bottles. So here's the before where everything was like placed in a haphazard way. But after I used all these stackable bins, they have fit in a better way, and I was able to fit more than I had before. I really love this setup a lot. This last one is by far probably my all-time favorite DIY when it comes to pantry organization, because I made use of a fresh flower shipping box. I received a gift from a close friend and she shipped me fresh roses. And I saw this shipping box and I said, wow, this is very, very durable, almost like a wooden box because it was so thick. So what I have done is I have combined it with the 4 wooden frames from the Dollar Tree. Now I will link it on the upper right hand corner, the complete or the long tutorial on this one. I just have to include it here because a lot of you are new to my channel and you may not have come across this DIY yet here in my channel. So I'm just giving you here a preview of that so that when you click the link on the upper right hand corner, it'll take you to the full tutorial because I have done a really detailed step-by-step on how I did this and the outcome is amazing. So I just want to let you know that this didn't cost me a lot. Even the wood that I used, I got it from the 99-cent store. You can buy this at any home improvement stores or hardware stores. You can buy them inexpensively. You can also buy this from the Dollar Tree, this popsicle sticks that I got there, and then I used it to decorate the sides. And then I painted the whole thing in chalk paint in white so that it will be very cohesive. It doesn't look like it was a flower box and that they were just connected with the frames. And I love that the picture frames came with its own plate label. So what I did is I put it at the bottom so that I can label each section and then I can see through that what I am organizing. So for example, in this one, I have the red potatoes on one slot, and then I will be putting in other produce. For example, this, I think these are like the different types of potatoes. These are the yellow potatoes, and then I have the yellow onions on one section, and then the other one I have lemons or limes. So the possibilities are endless, and again, this is by far my favorite because it looks like it's something that you can buy at an expensive retail shop. So again, click that link on the upper right hand corner if you want to watch the full tutorial on this one. So I labeled, like I said, what I did is I just wrote on small printer paper, or I typed in, and then I just cut them and then inserted them in those frames. And again, they were sold at Dollar Tree. And I did this project about 3 years ago. I'm hoping they still have these wooden frames at Dollar Tree. If not, I'm pretty sure they have something new now. Of course, it's no longer $1. And also, I have this apothecary on the top that I also DIY'd using Dollar Tree items. And if you're interested, I'm going to be linking it here too. So here's another way inside our pantry on how I organized our items here, our groceries here, using this flower box frame combination. And again, even though I don't use the label at the bottom, I can see through the glass what exactly I have organized. For example, the noodles, the chocolates, the popcorns, as you can see. So I don't really need to label it because I can see exactly what I have inside. So I hope you enjoyed this collection, everyone, and that it inspires you again, because this is the time of the year that a lot of people like to organize their homes. So I've shown here that you can organize your cupboard, your pantry with inexpensive items, and even create items that are amazing so that you can also use them. And also, it's really nice to be able to do something with your own hands with inexpensive materials, and some of them are free. I wish you all well and have a great day, everyone. I hope to see you again on my next video. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.